Look, I am all about telling the whole story, nothing but the truth, not leaving out details to make myself look any better. And I have such a testimony to share today that I said, God, I will put this out there because it does nothing but give you glory and honor. When I was married previously, I was in a very, very toxic relationship. And to be completely honest, God gave me a word in 2012 that He was breaking chains of toxic relationships. And so I took that word in 2012, and the very next relationship I got into, I tried to make that God's promise for me. And I created an Ishmael. No, I don't blame Ishmael. Ishmael didn't ask to be on this planet, but I tried to take the promise that God had given me, the word God had given me, and I tried to be God, and I tried to make this relationship. And I'm going to tell you something. I have never experienced the hell, the absolute hell that I experienced in that relationship. The mental abuse, the physical abuse, the lies, the cheating, the draining of my finances, the draining of my peace, everything. I was trying to force God's promise into this relationship. Got married, all that stuff. Ended up having to vacate in the middle of the night with my infant. And so I am a domestic violence survivor, and you will never hear me say victim, because for me, this is not everybody's case. For me, I knew signs early on, and I chose to avoid them because I was trying to make this promise that I received in 2012, the next relationship I got into, which was 2013, I forced God's promise into that, and He never told me that was the relationship. I say all that to say this: in this season that I'm in, number one, God is so true to His word that He will reward those that diligently seek Him, and I am proud and honored to say that I am in a wonderful, God-fearing marriage with an amazing man. An amazing man who has taught me so much, and God really has joined us, and we are so good for one another, and we've grown together in God, and it's so beautiful. But that's not what I'm on here for right now. I'm on here to tell you about God blessings chasing us. So, you have seen my posts. You have seen that I have been on fire with what God has given me to steward this school year since God began to download the initial idea of Power Play, positioning our schools for victory by bringing the Holy Spirit into our hearts, allowing us to be just like the Bible tells us that we are the church, that we're using the word church as school, that we are the school, and we allow Him to reside here. We don't have to do prayer meetings at the flagpole. We don't have to stand at the front of our classroom and articulate that we're saved, and we ain't got to have scriptures everywhere. We can, but we don't have to do that. If we allow Him to abide in us and allow Him to have full reign and lordship in our lives, then when we walk into rooms, there's no reason but transformation to take place. And so I have stewarded that gift that God has given me. I have stewarded that the assignment that He has given me, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't pray and ask God, and not ask Him, I give Him permission to have His complete way in my lessons, in my relationships, in my demeanor. He is truly blowing my mind. In July, God gave me a promise. He spoke a word to me that I had these medical bills for my son. And He told me that those bills would be wiped out. And I'm going to be completely transparent in this right now, that I have heard other people say that. I have believed it for them. But for me, I've just been so willing to be stagnant and complacent and comfortable in God wanting to give me peace, joy, kindness, discipline, all of those things. Like, I'm good with that. And I'm like, God, you've already done enough. Like, the fact that I'm not getting the snot beat out of me, I'm not worried about if my husband's cheating on me. I'm not concerned about, am I going to have my lights this month? I'm not concerned about when I get home, am I going to have things that are pawned and they're not going to be there anymore? The fact that I have peace when I go home, I'm like, God, that is enough. But that's not the God we serve. The God we serve wants to sow into his children abundantly, especially when we seek him more. And I have sought him more since February than I ever have in 14 years of being saved. On Sunday, I got a Facebook message from someone asking me to reach out to them. And I ignored it at first because I was like, oh, I don't really know what this is about. And so later on, I inquired about it and just said, hey, what's going on? And oh my God, I love God, because if that would have been me, I would have just been like, you know what? I'm trying to help you, and you didn't want to reach out and be obedient the way I said to. I said to call me, and I didn't call. I just sent a Facebook message back, and she gave me this news, and she said,